let's take a look at some more Nigerian stories, as the National Inland Waterways Authority has said that it is moving towards phasing out wooden boats on inland waterways. The managing director of NIWA, that's Bola Oyebamiji, made this known to editors at the weekend during an interaction in Lagos. The interaction, which focused largely on the safety of the waterways and expansion of water travels, had the managing director tell the editors that wooden boats constituted over 90% of boats on the waterways. Oyebamiji said they also accounted for the majority of accidents on the waterways nationwide. According to him, the move is largely because the wooden boats had no regard for operational rules, which included not traveling at night, overloading, and failure to use life jackets by both operators and passengers. Well, a RISE analyst, Dayo Sobowale, joins us now to discuss this development and how to ensure safety on Nigerian waterways. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here as usual.
Yes, so your take on this development that I think has elicited a lot of mixed reactions. Where do you stand with?
Well, I think the issue is one of occupational hazard, first and foremost. You said 90% of the boats are wooden, which means that's the technology available. And don't forget that people earn their living from this, and the ferry people who are going to work one way or the other. So in trying to protect them, you do not eliminate their jobs. Somewhat, somehow, NIWA must find a way to ensure safety and do its regulations, but it should not regulate the people who earn their living from boat transportation and people who go to work through boats, and should not eliminate their occupation or their incomes. That would be a great social cost in affecting safety. Let's leave it at that for now.
Well said, Mr. Sobowale. I like the fact that he said in trying to protect them, it shouldn't come at the cost of their livelihood. Now, there is data that suggests that many boat accidents are often caused by overcrowding and poor maintenance, rather than the boat material itself. So I'm just wondering, how would replacing wooden boats with modern vessels address these human behavioral factors?
Well, who will do the replacement? You got me? Because this is a private sector, informal economy issue. Get me? If government is that caring, do you get me? There will be no such boats. It's human beings who use them. Yeah. And that brings into question the issue between Nigeria, NIWA, and the Lagos State Ferry Service or Lagos State Waterways Regulatory Authority. They've been to court. Lagos State wanted to take over this function, but Supreme Court ruled in July, ruled in favor of the federal government. And ironically, it was on an appeal. And this present Attorney General was the one who filed the appeal for federal government, was not Attorney General. And he said something there, that there's need for them to meet and legislatively find a way to amend the laws or cooperate with each other. You see, that brings to the fore the issue of federalism. You see, federalism and the practice of it should enhance democracy, not be a clog in the wheel of progress. I said that some time ago. This is a very good example. If you look at the Constitution and the victory of the federal government, you see it's a Pyrrhic victory. It's a Pyrrhic victory. Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria. And if our inland waterways can be utilized and mobilized, you get me? It will save us a lot of mental and economic cost. Most of us are on the highway now. We are buying petrol and go. But some people, it's not as if all these people going into the wooden boats, some of them have vehicles. They live in Ikorodu, that's Lagos now. They live in Ikorodu, they live in so many places that the only way people come to work is through the road network. People have proposed it a long time ago. See, if you look around Lagos, on the coal bridge, if you look to the right, the waterways, get me, extending right up to the lake area. The place is barren. There are no ships there, only yachts for the rich. Whereas, if you have an effective waterways, if Lagos State is given the leeway, the wherewithal to do something, that will ease the traffic congestion. Do you get me? Although we are going with railways now, but the waterways too can be utilized to ease congestion on our roads and to make life easier for people. I would advise, you see, instead of eliminating the wooden boats, make them safer, let it be a private government partnership, somewhat, help them to improve the quality of service delivery of the wooden boats, instead of eliminating them all together. Because if you say you have to bring modern boats, we're talking of another cost altogether. So that is how I see it. That must be inclusion. Because if you look at the exclusive list, which is the federal government has power, the exclusive list does not mean that we should exclude people from quality of life or convenience or a means to earn their living, whilst trying to protect them at the same time. The two can go pari passu. Yes.
I'm glad you're talking about inclusivity because, you know, when I read the story, it made me think of the battle we've had with bikes, Keke na Pep, you know, where we find that these guys were removed off the roads and we don't know what became of most of them, you know, who are operating in various places. Livelihoods disappeared, but everybody moved on. So my question to you is, you know, this almost seems like another scenario, especially because it's on the waterways and the percentage of the population that depends on them is smaller than who would have used the bikes and the Keke na Peps and so forth. Don't you think that it'll just be banned and everybody will just move on? The question is, how do we ensure that this isn't an issue that gets passed into legislature and everybody moves on? Because it will be easy for us to forget about whatever happens to the gentlemen and the ladies who are
what I'm advocating is the pragmatism. Do you get me? Government should be realistic. It's not that we are making an ass of the law, but the law is made for man, not man for. Exactly. So that's being realistic. You get me? You have to find alternative for people. If you say they must not do, if you think the technology is archaic, and you want to preserve, the overregulation cannot be used to drive people out of business or livelihood. I don't see any sense in that. So I'm advocating some pragmatism. Let the stakeholders talk to each other and make realistic decisions that does not jeopardize the economic existence of people. What is the democracy? Such people voted for people in power. So their needs and problems should be looked at realistically, regardless of the law. That is what I'm trying to say. That's a responsiveness in a democracy. Government should do that. Lagos State government, federal government, let them put heads together and come to a realistic, workable solution that does not eliminate the livelihood of people and allows them to go to work in a transport of their choice. Yes.
Well said, Mr. Sobowale.
Yes.
What I've taken from your last statement is overregulation should not be used to drive people out of business. And on that note, we'd like to say thank you for your analysis, as always. Arise News analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Thank you.